Ekwedike, the great warrior, was revered, feared by foes, and a relentless shield for his people. He had hot temper. He'd single-handedly kept the village of Abri at bay, securing victory after victory in their never-ending feud over disputed lands. So his mission as a warrior in Umuhu Izechi was not to fight his own people. He only challenged Ekwedike because he was boastful. Ekwedike's life was tinged with sorrow. Years ago, his wife and one of his twin sons had died during a bloody clash with Abri community. Only one son, Ejima, survived. Now grown, Ejima was a mirror of his father, carrying the same powerful build and unbreakable spirit. Although he had settled in the far-off town of Ahaba, word of his resemblance to his legendary father had spread. For 7 years, Abri's people lived in terror, knowing Ekwedike could strike at any moment. Even the mention of his name sent shivers through the bravest men, for each attempt to reclaim their lands from Umuokwi met with swift defeat at his hands. Ekwedike, after his battle with Ekwedike, was won by Ezimio, who fortifies him before each war, to stay away from any form of battle for the next 6 months, revealing that he sensed danger. Meanwhile, the king of Abri land and his council grew desperate, calling for meeting upon meeting, with the agenda being on how to track down his kingdom's nightmare, Ekwedike, the big head from Umuokwi. But even they, mighty as they were, dared not utter a plan to kill him, for who could beat the giant of Umuokwi? One day, at a council meeting, a surprising figure broke the silence. Otisi, known as Mwangora, the crippled son of Ekwedike, a fallen Abri warrior who Ekwedike himself had slain. Otisi asked the king what reward he might receive for slaying Ekwedike. The council burst into laughter, mocking the idea of a cripple standing up to the dreaded warrior when seasoned men had failed. Yet, Otisi's resolve did not waver, and the king, seeing the persistence in his eyes, declared that whoever defeated Ekwedike would be granted the hand of Princess Adeze. The announcement stirred disbelief, but Otisi took action. Rallying the youth of Abri, he led them to the disputed boundary and instructed them to dig a wide deep trench, a trap concealed under a layer of leaves and branches. For 3 months, they dug tirelessly until the trench stretched long and deep, hidden just beyond the boundary. Then, Otisi invoked the spirit of his father through a war song, playing a flute whose notes echoed the melody his father had used to rally the warriors of Abri. The haunting sound reached Ekwedike's ears, stoking a rage within him. He could not believe that anyone dared challenge him after he had slain Abri's mightiest. Not minding the warning from Ezimio. Clad in his battle gear, Ekwedike marched toward the boundary. Unaware of the danger that lay in wait, Ekwedike strode forward, passing the boundary and stepping onto what seemed like solid ground. Suddenly, the earth gave way, and he plunged into the gaping trench. Shouts of triumph filled the air, and Abri erupted in jubilant celebration. At last, they were free from the terror that had haunted them. The villagers carried Mwangora on their heads, singing songs of conquest around the entire Abri land, which went on for 8 market days, according to their tradition. That was how a hero of that nature is celebrated. After that, they filled up the trench and leveled up the ground back to normal. News of Ekwedike's death shattered Umuokwi, plunging the village into mourning. They summoned Ejima, Ekwedike's only surviving son, who raced back from Ahaba. Known as Omikanaya, the one who acts like his father, Ejima had inherited not only his father's appearance but his warrior spirit. Consumed by grief, he vowed to avenge his father and restore Umuokwi's honor. After the grand jubilation of freedom gotten from Mwangora's wisdom and bravery, came the fulfillment of the king's promise. But before then, the Ezemo of Abri sent a worrisome message to the king, telling him that he saw that the cloud was still heavy and darkness hovering over the people of Abri. Therefore, no further ceremony should take place, but the villagers insisted that the promise the king made must be kept. After all, The only terror that scared them was gone forever. The king had no option than to obey his own words. On the day set for Otisi's wedding to Princess Adaeze, Abiri was alive with celebration. But Adaeze, who had no love for Otisi, refused to emerge from her chambers. As they tried to persuade her, a shadow fell over the square. The king looked up to see a towering figure in the distance, a man bearing an uncanny resemblance to Ekwedike. His blood froze. The people murmured in fear and awe, wondering if Ekwedike's ghost had returned. As Ejima strode into the square, the crowd scattered in terror. Panic overtook them. Ezemoa was right, but they refused to heed to the advice from spokesman for the oracle, and they fled, leaving Otisi and the king alone in the square. Otisi's hard-won victory had vanished like smoke, and the wedding was abandoned. Ejima's arrival sent a clear message to Abiri: Ekwedike might be gone, but his legacy and his bloodline remained unbroken. The people of Abiri community never dared challenge Umokwe again.